the story of the weekend was one Ryan Darth Bader defeating Fedor Emelinaenko in just 35 seconds. And as you see there, he now owns all the gold, the heavyweight champion, the light heavyweight champion, and the heavyweight Grand Prix champion. They gave him 2 belts on Saturday, so now he has 3 belts. That's amazing. No one ever walked away with 3 belts. What a feather in his cap. He kicks things off for us this afternoon. He is kind enough to be joining us on the phone. Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm doing very well. Probably not as good as you. Congratulations on Saturday. I was just showing the 2 clips. Your finish against King Mo, your finish against Fedor Emelinaenko. It's the exact same punch. It's unbelievable, that lead left hook. How, like, if I would have told you that you would have been able to finish 2 of the people in this tournament the same way in less than 40 seconds, I would imagine you would not have believed me initially, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's 2 guys that kind of keep their hands down. You know, with Fedor, he throws that right hand, and it makes him dangerous because you can't see his right hand. And he throws hard, but he's exposed all the time, you know. And so if you saw what we were doing in the back right before that, you know, we were in camp, you know, that's a punch we plan on hitting him with, you know. And so, you know, with his hands down his waist, we were going to try to time his right hand, throwing the right hand, or hit him with that left hook. And just that first punch landed, and you know, kind of played out exactly like I wanted to.
Prior to the King Mo fight, is that a punch that you used a lot in your career?
You know, I'm not the flashiest striker, I'm not, you know, but I do some things really well as far as when I set some stuff up, my jab, right hand, or left hook, or a takedown, it all comes from the same feint in the same place, and so. When I do feint, you don't know if it's a double leg or it's a left hook or right hand. And so I think that kind of throws people off, you know, and I have different weapons from that little feint there. It's just something like in this camp, I was hitting a bunch. I brought in an old training partner, Daniel Serafian, and he just throws bombs the whole time. And I kept landing that punch the whole time, you know, and then, you know, the coaching staff and we all got together and like, all right, this is how we're going to set it up. We're going to do this. Keep his hands down, kind of let him run into it. And like I said, if you were out in the back in the locker room right there, you know, watching what we were doing warming up for this fight, you know, it went exactly to plan, to a T.
Are you surprised that he wasn't more prepared for it?
You know, we were prepared to go in there and basically getting a little scramble firefight for the first round, just like with Chael. Get him tired. I felt like, yeah, it'll be a little nuts, it'll be crazy, but it'll only benefit me in the long run if it's in the second round, third, fourth, fifth. You know, and so that was the plan. We were going to make him throw. We were going to get him tired and all that kind of stuff. But when I got in there, I didn't know if I was going to be able to see his right hand. That's what a lot of people told me. Hey, the one thing about Fedor is he throws his right hand. You can't see it because he keeps his hand down. He's down. It's from the hip, all that. But I felt like he was about to throw it. I was getting my distance, my timing down, and yeah, I felt good in there. I felt like I could see everything. I knew he was about to throw that right hand, and you know, I just kind of faked it. Obviously, hit him with that left hook.
What is it like now that you've been through this twice? To go through, you know, this big fight, there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of buildup. It's now the culmination of a tournament, but even the King Mo fight as well, and it ends so quickly. Do you feel, obviously you're probably extremely ecstatic, there's jubilation, excitement, but like, is it a little unfulfilling? You didn't even break a sweat. You go back to the locker room and you're like, that's it? Like, what is that feeling like? Because I can't imagine going through those nerves and it ending just that quickly with essentially one punch.
Yeah, hell no. I'll take that any day. You know, it's one of those things where it could be potentially a 5-round fight. You know, it's going to fight. You don't want to go in there and fight for 25 minutes, you know. And so, yeah, you have all the emotions, the nerves. You know, you have that added pressure that being, you know, the heavyweight championship, the Grand Prix, the finale there. I've been working, you know, so hard for this whole past year when it was announced and we started this thing, and then on top of that, you're fighting one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. You know, and I try to put that in the back of my mind, and I've been in there, I've experienced, and so it wasn't a big deal. But, yeah, to get in there and get out, man, I'll take that any day of the week. You know, I had a 3-round fight with Mitchell, and that was enough. You know, I got that in there. But anytime you get in there, and to cap it off the way it went with Fedor, knocking him out, starting this tournament, knocking Kimo out, I'll take that for sure.
Did you have a moment right before the fight, because I know you spoke very highly of Fedor, did you have a moment where you were like, wow, I can't believe I'm actually about to fight this guy? You were never in his weight class. I know you respected him, but it wasn't like you two were on this collision course. Did you have a moment where you were like, wow, this is pretty cool?
It popped up like during camp and the week before, you're kind of laying in bed at night, and that kind of reality hits you. You're like, man, I'm fighting Fedor in a week, or fight week. You're sitting there, you wake up, you're like, all right, here we go. And then one moment when we got to the floor there, got to the venue, and I was walking in, and it was kind of the magnitude of the fight, of how big it was. I had to check myself real quick and be like, hey, it's just another fight right here, just another fight. Because there was about 20 people in the locker room, the cameras were there, Fedor arrived, and his whole team was there. But the whole time I try to, I told myself, don't make it bigger than what it is. You're going out there, you're fighting Fedor, yes, but you're fighting, January 26th Fedor, another guy across the cage from you. Don't put him on a pedestal. And so I kept just reassuring myself the whole time. And I feel like now in my career, obviously, mentally, the biggest thing, which in the past might have been a little Achilles heel, is I got over all that. These big fights I've had before come up short. But, this time I just kept on reassuring myself, telling myself, it's your time. This is your legacy right here. You get to fight Fedor, and I kept everything out of my head, just went in there and let myself succeed, basically.
Did you feel like in the past, when it was a bigger fight, when the stage was bigger, that you would let your head kind of take over and you would overthink things and crumble into that pressure? Do you feel like that's something that you really had to work on?
Yeah, to be honest, probably. It's just one of those things where it's not even, I always believed in myself and all that kind of stuff, but at some point, I want to say probably after my last loss, as far as the pressure, all that kind of stuff with Anthony Johnson, I said, you know what? I'm never going to shortchange myself. I went out there and I rushed a takedown and just didn't fight, basically. And so ever since then, I always go back to that moment in my head and say, do you want to feel like that again? When I walked out of that cage, I was embarrassed. I was, I felt like shit. And I always go back to that moment and say, do you want to feel like that again? You owe it to yourself. You owe it to the people at the time, into you, to get this job done and go out there and leave it all out there. And so ever since then, I've won every fight. And it was a huge, getting that mentality and bringing that into fight night has been a game changer for sure.
It's crazy. The Anthony Johnson fight, the anniversary of that is 3 years in 2 days. In 2 days, it will be a 3-year anniversary. You get I'm sure you get what I'm saying here. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Does it feel like,
is crazy.
Feels like a lot longer than that in a weird way.
Yeah, and that, you have your losses. Obviously, we don't like to lose and all that kind of stuff. But if I look back through my career and look at those losses, yeah, I wish I would have won these bigger fights, whatever. But it got me where I am, and corny, whatever. But you learn from every one. And the last one, it just kind of snapped as far as I gotta change whatever it was that was holding me back. And I did that, and we've been undefeated since then. And so obviously don't like to lose, but it was a good thing. It was a blessing in disguise right there.
Have you ever felt, in your entire athletic career, have you ever felt more confident than you do right now? I mean, things are going so well for you. You went through a whole tournament essentially without getting punched. And I don't know if Bellator keeps these stats, but I've asked around, and it really does seem like in the Mitrione fight, do you remember actually getting punched once? There's a moment in the second round where no one landed a punch, correct?
Yeah, no, to be honest, I don't know. I mean, I got hit with Latifi a little bit. Like, I guess he kind of dropped me, back in a couple of years ago, whatever, in the UFC. But,
yeah,
Phil Davis might have hit me with a couple, jabs or a right hand here and there. But, yeah, I haven't been punched in years, and it's one of those things where longevity in the sport and all that kind of stuff, I'm feeling great. My body feels great, especially when you're not taking any damage, and to go through this tournament, let alone a heavyweight tournament, and not get touched, not get punched, and then cap it off with beating the introduce at least one time. It's a great run. Not done, but that's the pinnacle right there in MMA.
And so to go back to my initial question, have you ever felt more confident, even dating back to your college wrestling days, I don't know, high school wrestling, in your athletic life, have you ever felt more confident than you do right now about your skills?
No, and it goes back to what I was saying about the mental aspect catching up. Like, I've always had the physical gifts. I've always been a good athlete, growing up as a kid, all that kind of stuff, wrestling. And then getting to MMA. I got into MMA, and I was a wrestler. And I had no idea what I was doing on my feet. Probably till, to be honest and be comfortable, till there was child fight. And,
wow.
And you get thrown into the deep waters there. I was on the Ultimate Fighter, won that, and you get thrown into UFC and was undefeated for a while and fighting top guys, And so, yeah, I feel confident, I feel good, but the mental aspect of it all, I was fighting for the heavyweight title, fighting Fedor. I had a smile on my face in the back. I was having fun, and I had those little checks and balances in my head in the back, like I was saying. I never want to feel like I felt, in my last loss and that kind of stuff, and it just kind of, I felt free. These last couple of fights, I know I have the abilities, and so. And I work, I'm one of the hardest workers in the gym there too. So that, but walking into the cage and knowing that you put in the work, and I just let it go from there. Smile on my face, walk out, most confident I've ever been, and I think the results show.
When they first approached you about this tournament, were you into it, or did you have to be convinced to go up from 205 to heavyweight?
So when I left the UFC and came over, came to San Jose and met with Rich and Scott Coker, and they asked, that's what I like about it too, they asked, like, are you open to do some different stuff, maybe fight in Japan, maybe go up to heavyweight? And I said yes, and I want to have these big fights, I want to do something different, and I was open to something like that. And so when they came over and we were talking about the heavyweight tournament, well, we didn't know who was going to be in there or anything, we immediately just said yes, and then we kind of watched that bracket fill out. They literally did not have one name, when we said yes. And so, it just, looking back from that moment to where we are now, it was a fun time, a cool run. And it takes all the hoopla and jockeying for the title shot kind of out of the picture.
Yeah.
Going there, what I came up in the wrestling, world of bracket, and you win, you move on, you win, you move on until as a champion. And so, it was fun. I got to be motivated the whole year. I knew when I was fighting, I knew potentially who I was going to fight, and get my head down, did the work, and here we are.
And I feel like symbolically, that's probably the most beautiful part about all this, because when I think back to your UFC run, in particular towards the end, I feel like that really defines the end of your UFC run. Like, you kept having to maybe do things that you weren't uncomfortable doing, jockeying for position, trying to campaign for a title shot.
Yep.
Isn't this like this must have been so much better for you, and so it feels so much freer that you don't have to do any of that, right? Like, the juxtaposition of the two experiences, I would imagine at some point must have hit you like, wow, isn't this so much better than how it ended with the UFC?
Yeah, I mean, you get to go out there and compete, and it takes everything else out of it, And I get it. I like the shit talking, here and there, but it's become, you used to have the guys that were good at it, and that's what they did, whatever. But now it's a new normal. You have to shit talk, and it's only a matter of time until it catches up with you. Conor did it great, but he backed it up. He backed it up also. So these other guys that are coming out and just that's what they're starting with immediately. It's just going to catch up with you, And so for me, this tournament was perfect. I'm not a shit talker, and there's a lot of respect there. And fighting Fedor, he's obviously a great fighter, but he's a good person, and he's got nothing but respectful. So it was a nice change of pace. You go in there, you win your fight, you move on, and then you're fighting for the heavyweight championship. I think it's Fedor, who's respectful, and it was just an amazing experience from top to bottom.
How much did you weigh on Saturday?
So on Saturday, weighed in. California does the fight day weigh-ins or whatever in the locker room. I was actually 224.
Okay.
So I was 228 weighing in camp. I was 235, but my body just knows that it's fight time. So we get to fight week and all that, and I kind of shed probably 5 pounds. I don't know where it comes from. It just comes off. I don't know if it's just me amping up whatever, or the mental drainage of going through and doing fight week and having a fight looming. But I was 224 on Saturday.
Do you plan on defending both belts?
Yeah, we'll see. Keep an eye. I got to get with Bellator. I have 1 fight left on my contract. We need to do a new deal here. I'm having a great time, obviously, in Bellator. I want to stay here. But I got to be incentivized to stay up here at heavyweight for sure. And fight these big boys and defend that belt. I want to defend both. And I think they're open to it. I don't think there's a ton of clear-cut contenders at 205.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like I have the ability to hold on to that belt for a while without it being defended. But we'll see. We'll get with Bellator, and if they want me at heavyweight, and if I get incentivized and all that kind of stuff, I'll do whatever they want.
Are you planning on fighting out your contract and testing the waters again?
No, like I said, I want to do a new deal basically now.
Okay.
I have one fight left. I have a little champion's clause, whatever, in my contract. But a 2-division champion, we have a light heavyweight belt, a heavyweight belt, and if they want me to do something in particular, as far as defend the heavyweight or whatnot, let's get a new deal done. I've been having a great time with Bellator. I want to stay there, but that's gonna happen first.
There's no part of you that says, I wonder what the guys in Las Vegas are thinking?
It's obviously it's a selfish sport, and you're in business for yourself. But like I said, I've been treated well, and I think I'm going to be treated very well after this with Bellator. And so I haven't even really had those thoughts, And like I said, we're going to come to the table here and go through all the hoopla with that. And if they make me really happy, literally I have no regrets. I'm not even thinking about that at all. I'm happy where I'm at, and definitely hope we can get it done.
Okay, and just curious, it seems, at least to me, at 205, I know you spoke briefly about the 205 division, maybe there's no clear-cut guy. I feel like the biggest fight that they can make for you right now is Tito, that rematch of the fight that happened at UFC 132. And I know you were asked about Tito, and I think you said, he has to come back and sort of prove himself. Do you not feel like, as far as big fights, a rematch against him would be the biggest right now for you? Or am I wrong in thinking that?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I would, if that. I was just saying that because I didn't know if they would ever make that right away. But hell yeah, I would take that immediately. That's where I came over. I came over to Bellator. That's where I sat down, and they were asking if I was open to do stuff like that, like Japan heavyweight. That's the thing. I'm open for these bigger fights. I don't want to. With the 205 division, I don't want to go down there and fight. Well, I don't know the guy's name, but the Russian guy, he's a good fighter. Nobody knows his name. I want these bigger fights. I'm at the point in the career, especially being a 2-division champion, coming out here and doing this heavyweight tournament. I was, every time I walked out, it was a huge fight because it was not just one fight; it was part of the whole tournament and all that kind of stuff. And so, for me, yeah, those are the fights I want. The Titos, a big heavyweight fight. And I want to defend my 205 belt for sure, but I don't want to just, fight a guy nobody's ever heard of. I don't know. Well, definitely, if Tito, if they would make that fight, I definitely want it and take it.
Last thing, does Chael Sonnen constitute a big fight? Is that a big fight?
Yeah, no. Chael would be a big fight. He's got his. He's got his fans and all that, and it goes back to the same with Tito. If Bellator can justify putting Chael into a 205-pound title fight, after he just got smoked with with Fedor, I'm all for it. If they can deal with it, I'm all for it.
All right. For now, enjoy the belts, Ryan. What a story. Unbelievable. And I feel like anyone who, as I said at the top, anyone who questioned your move from the UFC to Bellator, I don't think they have a lot to say on this Monday afternoon. This has worked out very nicely for you, and I'm very happy for you. It's nice to see you with all that gold, all those belts. A really cool moment on Saturday. So enjoy the victory. Congratulations. Thanks for stopping by, and good luck with your contract negotiations and from where you go from here.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. There he is, Ryan Darth Bader, the Bellator heavyweight and light heavyweight champion.